Hello and a warm welcome to all the viewers of Curiosity Hype. Well, in our last video, we covered what are factors. Oh, did you miss that? Well, you should catch it first in the link given in the description box below. Well, in this part, we are going to cover what are multiples. Remember, factors and multiples go hand in hand. So let me just repeat the definition that when two numbers are multiplied with each other and they give a product, these two numbers are the factors of the product and the product is the multiple of these two numbers. Well, to understand multiples better, let's take table of 2. Here 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20 are multiples of 2. And it doesn't stop here. It goes on with 20, 22, 24, 26, 28 and so on. So to define it, we can say that a multiple is the product of a number and the running counting numbers. So with that, let's understand a few basic properties of multiples.
So the first property is that every number is a multiple of itself. For example, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 is the number and 4 is also the multiple. So this points out that every number is the smallest multiple of itself. That gives us the second property that multiples are greater than or equal to the number itself. The next property states that a number has infinite multiples because you can go on multiplying with infinite numbers to get infinite multiples. And the last and final property is that every number is a multiple of 1, example of which is shown here.
Now, just like in factors we found common factors, in multiples also we need to find common multiples.
So the multiples which are common to 2 or more numbers are called common multiples of the numbers. Now the kind of questions that come for common multiples is something like this, like find the first 3 common multiples for 2 and 3. Now in this case, in the first step, we'll find multiples of 2 and multiples of 3. Now multiples of 2 is nothing but the table of 2. 2 times 1 is 2, which is the first multiple. 2 times 2 is 4, which is the second multiple. 2 times 3 is 6, which is the third multiple. So on and so forth. We'll write down till the 10th multiple, which is 2 times 10, which is 20. Similarly, let's write down the multiples for 3, which would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27 and 30. So these are nothing but tables of 3. Now of these two rows, 6, 12 and 18 are the common numbers. So the first 3 common multiples between 2 and 3 are 6, 12 and 18. And of these common multiples, 6 is the lowest or the least. So 6 is called the LCM or the least common multiple. There will be a lot of questions around finding the least common multiple. And another interesting fact is that if you are asked to find the LCM for 2 numbers of which one is the multiple of other, for example 4 and 24, then the greater number, that is 24 here, is the least common multiple for the 2 of the numbers.
Let's find some more LCMs or least common multiples.
So let's solve these questions on multiples. Here is the first question. I'll give you some time, but if you need more time to solve this, do pause the video. Well, to find the common multiple of 4, 6 and 9, first of all, we need to write the multiples of 4, 6 and 9. But we'll start with writing the multiple of the greatest number first. So let me write the first 10 multiples of 9. Now as I write the multiples of 6, I will halt wherever I find it matching with one of the multiples of 9. So let's write the multiples of 6, which is 6, 12, 18. Now I find the occurrence of 18 in the multiples of 9 also and in 6 also.
Let's see if 4 also has 18 as one of its multiple. So when we write 4's multiples, it's 4, then 8, then 12, then 16 and then 20. Now 20 has surpassed 18. That means 18 is not a common multiple among the three. Let's go ahead with the multiple of 6. Well, multiples of 6 as we write is nothing but table of 6, or you just go on adding 6 to the previous number. So we continue with 24, 30, 36. Now I see again 36 appear in 9's multiples and in 6 multiples. Let's see if it appears in the multiples of 4. Well, it's 24, 28, 32, 36. So we do find 36 in multiples of 4 also. So we find our first common multiple among the three numbers being 36. Let's go ahead with the multiples of 6 and we'll stop when we'll find a number that matches the multiples of 9. So we go on with 6, we go on adding 6 to the numbers. So it's 42, 48, 54. That is an occurrence in multiple of 9. Let's see in the multiples of 4 do we find 54. After 36 it would be 40, followed by 11 times 4, 44, 48, 52 and then 56. So it's already surpassed 54, so it is not one of the common multiples. Let's go back to the multiples of 6. After 54 it will be 60, then in 11's table it will be 66. 6 times 12 is 72. So we get the 12th multiple as 72, which is also present in the 9 multiples. Now let's see if multiples of 4 has 72. So we are at 56. We'll go on adding 4. We get 60, 64, 68, 72. So yes, we do find 72 as well, which is common for all the three numbers. So we get the first two common multiples of 4, 6 and 9 to be 36 and 72. Let's go to our next question. Again the same rule. I'll give you some time. Pause if you need more time to solve this question. Well, here also we'll use the table method. So let's write the multiples of 3, 5 and 6. So let me write the table of 3, the table of 5 and the table of 6. That means I've written 10 multiples of 3, 5 and 6. Now again go by finding the multiple of the greatest number and try to match it if it occurs in any of the smaller numbers. Now 6 occurs in 3 but not in 5. 12 occurs in 3 but not in 5. Similarly for 18 and 24. But what occurs in 5 is 30. Multiple of 6. 30 is a multiple of 5 and 30 is a multiple of 3. So here the first common multiple that we find is nothing but the least common multiple of the three numbers. Hence the least common multiple of 3, 5 and 6 is 30. Let's go to our next question where you need to find the least common multiple of below pairs using prime factorization. Well, the same rule applies. Pause the video if you need more time. Now here we are going to find the least common multiples using successive division method, for which we draw a T like this and then we'll write the number 24 and 48. Now I am going to find the prime factors for these numbers. Since these are even numbers, I can use the smallest prime factor of 2. Now 2 divides 24 by 12. And 2 divides 48 by 24. And then again this is even, so I'll further divide it by 2. Now 2 times 6 is 12 and 2 times 12 is 24. Again being even, I'll divide it with 2. I'm left with 3 and 4. Now 3 is a prime number, so I will stop, but 4 can further be divided. So I'll again divide it by 2.
And this 3, I will just bring it down. I'm no more dividing it. 4 is still divisible and it is 2 times 2, that is 4. So now I've got all the prime numbers. So the LCM for 24 and 48 is the product of all of these prime numbers that I have found using the successive division method. And this is equal to 96. So your answer for the first one is 96. Similarly, the next answer, that is for 45 and 72, the LCM is 360. And for 78 and 104, the LCM is 312. Now, after this, remember an important tip. The first thing is that in case of factors, the smallest common factor is always 1. Hence, the question will always ask you to find the highest common factor. And in case of multiples, the highest multiple cannot be found as multiples can be infinite. Hence, the question will always ask you to find the least common multiple or the lowest common multiple.
So now that we have understood multiples and before that we also went through factors, let's combine the two and take a quiz covering factors as well as multiples. I hope you're ready and gear up for this because this topic is one of the most popular topic in the IMO exams for class 4th. So let's get started. I hope this was a beneficial session for you. If you have any queries or any suggestions, do reach out to us at any of our social media handles. Well, with that, I take your leave. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Curiosity Hive. Till we meet again, take care.